Hey, Lighting, have you heard?
How about no?
Nope.
The Truck Show. We're gonna show you what we know. We're gonna answer what the truck, 'cause truck rhymes with the Truck Show. We have the lifted, we have the lowered, and everything in between. We'll talk about trucks that run on diesel and the ones that run on gasoline. The Truck Show, the Truck Show, the Truck Show, whoa, whoa.
It's the Truck Show with your hosts, Lightning and Holman.
This episode of the Truck Show podcast, Have You Heard? Is proudly presented by Nissan. With the Frontier, Titan, and Titan XD, Nissan has a truck for every need, along with the legendary Nissan durability. Test drive your next truck at a local Nissan dealer today, or point your browser to nissanusa.com, where you can use the build and price tool to configure a Nissan truck that fits your lifestyle.
And when you're thinking about adding power or improving fuel economy, Banks has over 65 years of experience. Whether it's cold air intakes or exhaust systems, tuning, throttle control, charge air cooling, lubrication components, and much more, no one offers smarter, safer, 50-state emissions-compliant performance parts than Gale Banks. You'll find the best engineered parts for your truck at bankspower.com.
This is the show where they talk breaking news, and this is the part where Holman asks Lightning, have you heard?
Hey, Lighting, have you heard?
Oh, hell no.
No.
Well, I bet if you were there, you heard it. The guy at the end is when he makes the video.
Oh, boy. I don't know if that was Brian Scott or who that voice was.
I don't know.
I'd have to go back and... So if you guys had seen the Hoonigan video, this...
Well, 20 million of you have.
Yeah, this versus that or this or that. It's a competition series, or was a competition series. This might have been the last one. Jason was driving a Raptor, and he went off a jump, I think a little faster than maybe he expected to. And he aired this Raptor, and it landed on the flat.
If you haven't seen this video, go to @TruckShowPodcast Instagram to Reels. You'll see it on there. It is something that you have to watch.
Here's the audio right after he lands, and the medics run over to him. Listen carefully. You're going to hear his Apple Watch start barking at him.
911, the owner of this Apple Watch was in a severe car crash and does not respond to their watch.
Hey, stop my watch from calling my wife, please. Okay. What happened?
I want to get him on the phone right now because I have to know more.
Dialing Jason Loeliger up in Walnut Creek, California.
Hey, it's Jason.
Jason, Lightning and Holman, Truck Show Podcast. How you doing?
What's up, Fall Guy?
Good, man.
Fall Guy.
We're doing good, man.
I've been called worse.
I just want to know how tall a guy are you today versus how tall a guy you were a few weeks ago?
Well, as a big, tall 5'10" kind of guy, I'm definitely 5'9" and 3/4 probably these days.
All right, we got a lot of questions to ask you, Jason. Hold on, we got a quick jingle to play first. Yep, don't move.
Okay.
Go. Truck famous, hero, star, VIP, ace, big weight, hot shot. Truck famous, big shot, big deal, big gun, big cheese, heavyweight, superstar. Truck famous. That's what you are.
All right, so which one of those do you think he is?
Truck famous?
Big cheese, big ace, superstar.
I think he's superstar
heavyweight. I want to just point out that we completely stole the video in question and reposted it on the Truck Show podcast as a reel. Your antics have single-handedly added about 30,000 people to our Instagram, so we appreciate that.
Does it hurt when you hear this audio, Jason? Oh! Look at that. Oh! That's Jason.
Yeah, that's I remember that.
You do actually remember that. All right, so that reel right now on our Instagram with a lot. I'm guessing this is the cumulative number 19.4 million views. So
on your page?
Well, we I don't know if we shared it or what, but that's the total.
I think he
that says
remixed it, so this is the original.
This is the original.
Yeah, that's cumulative with all the Hoonigan stuff and all that.
So 20 million people, dude. That. Yeah. So I mean, that's probably worth ruining your truck.
All right.
Well, you know.
So Jason, for those that don't know, you were asked to play along and drive in a jump to flat contest. I don't know if that's what it was called, but it was a recent Hoonigan video a couple weeks ago now, and you famously jumped too far.
Well, hold on. So let's set the stage. There's a starting gate, and there was a series of massive hills, not whoops, but like hills where you air out and you land. And you were doing it against the Dixie Off-Road, I believe, Wrangler JL. And
Bryce.
Yep. And they both looked like on landing it was bad. Well, then Bryce did it again, and it was really bad.
The intention is basically, imagine a straight line drag strip off-road version, some big jumps. Theoretically, it was the first one across the finish line wins. The reality is I had one practice run at it, went great. As you hear in the video, basically I'm getting coached up on do exactly the same thing. And things went a little different in the second run, which was which everyone has seen by now. And at the end of the day, it wasn't exactly as I drew it up, but ultimately at this point, it's part of who I am. I'm that guy. Like I said, I'd rather go big and limp home than not go big at all kind of thing, and I walked away and I can live to tell the story, and that's what I really care about. So
now the thing that was the most amazing to me is, so anybody who owns a Ford knows that Ford is notorious for having their inertia activated fuel cutoff. So if anytime you get in an accident, it'll turn your fuel off. So a lot of us will go off-roading. Those of us who have particularly have enjoyed the 90s and 2000 vintage Fords and pushed them past their design limits have often tried to solve why our truck randomly stopped running in the middle of the trail after a whoop series. And
that's why.
Okay. But it's I'm not going to say it's funny. I mean, it's funny to me. It's probably less funny to Jason. But watching the video, you sort of land it, and then it just looks like it dies on the hill. Like, so what? You hit the jump. You're sailing through the air majestically. You're looking around. The angels are singing on high. There's a rainbow farting unicorn like next to you. Puffy white clouds, and then all of a sudden it turns. Boom! I felt like it's those old. Remember those lawn dart games? You throw them in the air, and then they try to stick. Is that what you were trying to replicate?
Again, not by design. No. I was trying to go real fast. And the honest to God truth, I didn't think the truck would go and pick up that much speed from the starting line to the lip of that first jump. And I was at GoPro stated 53 miles an hour at takeoff. And I didn't think, the truck basically makes stock Raptor horsepower, which is plenty of power, but ultimately I didn't think it'd go that fast in that short of a distance. And I was in Baja mode, which is anyone who drives a Raptor knows that makes you like Superman. And ultimately,
you know what's funny about the story? His Raptor literally said to him, "Hold my beer."
Right.
I got this. Yeah.
I got this.
Oh, the Raptor took care of me though. There's no question about that. Nobody walks away from that in just your average truck. That's a testament to Ford. That's a solid piece.
What was the suspension that you had on it?
So that truck is in my opinion, basically as far as you can go with sort of what would be classified as a stock suspension build.
So stock mounting length, points and things like, okay.
Yeah. So it had 3.0 Fox FRS live valve suspension, right? So the bigger remote resi shocks, front and rear internal bypass, and then I run an E-Click or an SDI built computer controlled dampening system on that truck. And ultimately that truck to me runs Devers in the back for leaf springs. And then I'm running iBox in the front. And ultimately that truck is amazing daily driver, off-road in the desert, doing everything I've ever thrown at it. But at the end of the day, when you take 6,000 pounds and throw it that high up in the air and then drop it on a flat, it doesn't really matter what it is. Something's going to give. And kind of interestingly enough, the truck kind of bent in a few spots, but it really didn't break, to the testament that I drove that truck home the next day, 8 hours home from Temecula to Northern California.
So I was going to ask you about that basically the aftermath. So just so people know, this is basically a second generation Raptor. So first generation of a 35 gigaboost.
2020.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
And so that truck is, with all the mods you have on there, especially with the Fox 3.0s and the Devers, is a supremely capable street legal vehicle. I mean, it's almost stupid how capable that truck is with the mods that you had on it.
Totally agree.
And so many backstory questions I want to get to, because we know that you ate it and landed hard and
like a pancake, right?
Like a pancake.
Like belly flop.
It looked like something you'd see a trophy truck do. They land like a pillow. This did not land like a pillow.
No, it landed like a pillow. It was a rebound that took care of things.
Yes, exactly. and so, but I want to back up before you even started this. Did you get a call from Brian Scotto, or how did this work?
And why did you say yes?
Why did you say yes? How did this all, what's your backstory? Because you're Bay_area_Raptor, so you do Raptor stuff. How did they find you?
I do.
How did you end up on camera?
So I'm an auto tech by trade. I spent 10 years at the Ford dealership. I'm a diesel mechanic by trade. That's what I learned to do when I was younger. Ultimately, I have a shop in the Bay Area called Devil Mountain Diesel, which is the home of Bay Area Raptor. I've been interested in the off-road community since I was young, in my first trip to Baja many, many years ago. And ultimately, that kind of lit a spark for me. And so of late, in the last recent past, we've been doing a lot of Raptor things as we venture out into that off-road space, in addition to our regular Super Duties and just domestic diesel stuff we do every day. And so Bay Area Raptor was born. The long story short about how I ended up there is I have a very good friend who lives back east, and he got the phone call. He has a TRX, and he got the phone call, and they said, hey, we need you to do this event. And ultimately he was out of town for his wedding anniversary. And so it was a hard, couldn't do it. And he said, but I got a buddy. My number got forwarded. And ultimately, when I got the call I didn't get the call from the talent. I got the call from people that actually make it happen. And so I got the invite, and it was a pretty vague sort of, hey, we're going to do a Hoonigans thing. It's going to be in Southern California. Here's a rough sort of 4-day window. And ultimately, I'm a small business. I pretend I know what I'm doing on the internet, but the reality is that marketing is hard to come by. And so when Hoonigan calls, I knew enough to know it was a place I wanted to be, a group of people I wanted to be associated with at all possible. As somebody who's grown up kind of in this industry, ultimately you hear Hoonigans, you think all the things that come with Gymkhana and all the people and the amazing videos of productions that have ever been made. Of course I said yes. So mind you, when I got the phone call, my truck was in 1,000 pieces from my prior trip to Nevada that summer. So I had to finish putting the truck back together, which, thanks to SCI and E-Click down in Southern California, I picked up an FRS on the way down the day before that they had just finished overhauling for me, put it on the truck, and showed up on that was a Wednesday. And, I've never filmed anything before. And so I got this, what I think it's called a call time or something for the TV people out there. And basically it's a window when you're just supposed to be there. I get some GPS coordinates to this private track off the dirt road, off the main highway out in the middle of BFE. I show up and I have no idea. I'm by myself in my truck. And that was, again, validates I had no idea what I was actually going to do.
Jason, this was an episode of This or That, or was it something else?
No, this was This versus That. We filmed. Okay. So they were filming all the episodes that have aired were filmed over a 3-day period that week in the end of July of last year. And so I show up on a Wednesday, and basically by the time I got there, I think I was supposed to be there at 2:00 or something. And I got there at 11 or something in the morning, and guys were running. And so I got to watch a few of the guys go head to head before me. And I was trying to learn what the hell these guys were doing and what the track looked like, and just trying to, make the most out of my, time to be there and try to, rub shoulders with guys that are much more capable and skilled than I am. And so it was great. And so got got to spend time with all the crew and kind of the guys and just sort of be around it. And I mean, they fed us, and there was a trailer, and it was 1,000 degrees. It was like hotter than the fires of hell that day in Temecula. So it was pretty largely uncomfortable, minus the fact that they had coolers full of drinks and waters, and they were taking care of us, which was great. And so got the call at probably somewhere around 4:00 is kind of my memory of what time
looks
it
like
was
that.
in the
If you look at
afternoon.
the golden hour sun angle, knowing that it's
Right.
January or whatever, it's it looks like it's late in the day. I will say, if you're watching your truck fly, I have to say I'm impressed by this. It generally stayed nose high, although it tilted toward the driver's side, and I think that's what whacked you, is the fact that the driver front came down hard and first.
And the steering wheel whipped as well.
Well, my truck has always flown. For the record, I only weigh about 200 pounds, but my truck has always flown driver down.
5'10", 200?
Always.
Yeah,
He's like us.
Yeah, he's 5'10". He's one of us.
Yeah, he's one of us.
Hold on, say wait. Pause. Wait, Jason, have you ever eaten at Wiener Schnitzel? Please say yes. Please say yes. Please say yes.
I'm sure I have in my life.
Whataburger or In-N-Out?
Oh God, In-N-Out for sure.
Yes.
I'm a
All right.
California guy through and through.
Okay.
Whataburger's trash.
Waffle House or
Cracker Barrel.
No, not Cracker. No, it's Waffle House or
International House Pancakes.
Yeah, IHOP.
Oh, IHOP.
Yes.
Ah!
Yes. He's my
Damn.
man.
Damn it.
He's my man.
All right. Dr. Pepper or
Give me
Coke?
another. Come on, let's. Oh, for Jason Durham, Dr. Pepper.
Yeah.
We have a Dr. Pepper fridge in the podcast studio.
Yeah, that's true. We do have a Dr. Pepper fridge gifted by one of our listeners
yeah.
when we built the studio.
So you shot this last July.
July 23rd.
Was it that long ago? Okay.
So Hoonigan, all good back then. Today, Hoonigan is a
wheel company.
Well, it's a wheel company.
Conglomerate.
Pale imitation of itself.
They were a wheel company then.
They had just become a wheel
Pros
company.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, you are like.
So did they replace your bent rims?
No, I'm asking. It's like you were one of the last episodes.
No, they didn't.
Oh, interesting.
You were one of the last episodes of like what was.
I didn't bend the rims, by the way. For the record, my rims are straight as an arrow. Those are Innovates from Jason out of Southern California. Those are absolutely forged wheels. Didn't miss a beat.
Nice.
So,
I like to hear that.
Yeah, Innovate or for
So
for the ballers. Yeah, they're strong. You didn't know that Hoonigan would like implode, right? Scotto leaves and Hurt leaves and all the key guys, right? And now, so you were like on the tail end of the Hoonigan greatness.
I might be the end. I could have been. I might be the reason why Wheel Pros doesn't do the series anymore.
That's
see
fair.
Corporate America not wanting to put on that sort of liability. Had I really hurt myself and really been, like a lot of people in this world, and just sued the ever-loving bejesus out of Wheel Pros, which I could have done. You can do. I mean, the release of liability in California doesn't matter.
Right,
you can sue anybody for anything. And so ultimately, I wouldn't be surprised if they never put the event on again, which would be sad. I think there's a lot to it. And I think that, there was a lot of good people involved, and I think you can really made some amazing content. I mean, I know they got what, they make
Lightning, I'm
internet
nervous.
content, and
I'm nervous.
Why are you nervous?
Because I don't want you to be the exclamation point of this show.
Oh, do you think I'm that guy?
I don't know.
No.
I'm starting to put the pieces together, and I'm starting to wonder.
It's our last episode.
Yeah.
They all go downhill from here.
Well, I mean, they've been going downhill for a while.
Yeah,
so. All right, Jason, question for you. You are now returning to the earth. You're coming in hard. You're coming in hot. You're thinking inside your mind, oh, you hit the ground. Your initial thought, because you lost a few parts, but then once it kind of augured on the next hill, you were able to drive off the hill. Were you thinking, do I have my 10 fingers and toes? Were you thinking, holy crap, this thing's still drivable? Were you thinking, what did I do? I got to explain to my wife. Like what is the chain of events that happened upon landing?
Well, first and foremost, when you watch that video, when I hit the ground, I'm in siesta mode for a period of time. And so when you watch the video, the easy way to think about it is from landing, until I run over the last fuel sign, that vertical flag they have.
Yeah, that they were marking the edges of the course.
You were
Yes.
unconscious?
I was just relaxing at a deep state of,
He was dazed.
relaxation at that moment. So ultimately, that weird sort of driving you talked about, your inertia switch cutting out and that kind of stuff, that was a third party or my greater, my spirit animal or whatever was doing that. And then I'll be perfectly honest with you. I've had people ask me, what were you thinking? Or did you know where you were? And so I instantly knew exactly where I was, and I'll be, for better or for worse, super honest about it. I literally was in my head thinking, maybe nobody saw that, play it cool. We'll just kind of limp off the track and then we'll get ready to go again. Right. That was
Wow.
the inner dialogue in my head was, maybe it'll buff out.
My dad's got a rad set of tools.
Right. It wasn't that big. It was, maybe they didn't see kind of thing. Maybe it'll be cool. Like just sort of, and then from there, it was pretty apparent. You guys probably seen Talladega Nights with Ricky Bobby.
Of course.
Yeah. Sweet
And there's
baby
a scene
Jesus,
where maybe-
Oprah, help me.
Yeah, he kind of thinks he's on fire. In one scene, he's
Yes.
running around in his underwear with his helmet on. Well, I did my best impersonation of that after I stopped and was talking to the medic. And obviously the adrenaline was off the charts in addition to being, relatively concussed, And so at that point I had some really, and I have some audio that was recorded on my stuff that is pretty spectacular because I have this running dialogue going with the crew and with the people and the medic and the medic's wife. They were lovely people and they took amazing care of me. But ultimately, yeah, so that was kind of the sort of the after. So it wasn't much thought other than, hey, maybe nobody saw. And then ultimately, once it was apparent that I had been seen and they, from there it was getting the medic car because we're going to, you need to get checked out. So.
And were you, other than being concussed, were you okay otherwise?
Yeah. So I got in the video, one of my favorite moments is when I'm talking with Zach and Scotto at the end. And we're talking about the cavity search that I got at the hospital. And so after the ambulance ride, they take me down to the trauma center in Temecula and we get there. And don't get me wrong, there was a period of time in there I was a little less sure about my condition. And then as the ride went on and it was pretty apparent I was going to be fine. And we got to the trauma center and I got the full CAT scan, the CT scan, the cavity check, the whole deal, the whole nine. And they released me 2 hours later. I was fine. So,
yeah, but let's be honest. The cavity check was
health.
just because the doctor was curious.
Well, I actually, there's a box. Maybe next time you guys go into the ER, you can check the box. It's optional. So if you guys are into that or whatever.
No, didn't you? I thought you like sprained something. Didn't you come out with a cast or something on your arm?
Nope.
Okay.
No, I had wrist bracelets on. No,
wrist
not
brace.
a thing.
Got it. Okay.
No broken bones. No. It's interesting. There was a lot of chatter on the internet about my wrist. Because when I land, my wrist goes in kind of an interesting position. There's nothing. There was no broken bones,
Wild.
Nothing physically
So
wrong
lucky.
with me at that point. Yeah. Oh, for sure. 100%. And that's why I will be grateful. And I've told people I'll drive a Ford Raptor till I am really not capable of driving anymore because it's that kind of truck.
Some would argue you're not capable of driving one now.
I don't think so. Now,
This is true. Some might have that stance.
Jason, what concussed you? Like, did you hit your head on the steering wheel? Was the compression of your spine, or you didn't have a 5-point harness, right?
Pillar.
Or the B
No,
pillar?
I had a bell. I had my full face helmet on that I wear in those when I drag race or when I do that kind of stuff. And so I hit it on the B pillar. When the seat track caved, I went into the B pillar.
Okay,
and
that
so
makes
when
sense.
the left front tire came down and then that was kind of all she wrote at that point.
So let's take inventory. Truck goes on a trailer, or you said you drove it back. You drive it back to the shop.
No,
You
drove it home.
Okay, drove it
I
home.
duct taped the fenders on. All I did, honest to God truth, I duct taped the fenders on. I took it, as I drove it I had all the guys, all the crew, Scotto, Zach, everybody signed my fender. It's literally one of my greatest pieces I own in my life. So that's up in my shop, but they signed my fender and I duct taped all the fenders onto the truck so they would stay. And then I took it, I did the 32-point inspection in the local gas station and basically it was all still sorted together. And I jumped on I-5 and headed home. Drove home with air conditioner on, the whole deal. I've parked the truck once I got back to the shop, left it in my shop and just parked it because I didn't know what the video was going to do. I didn't know, I had no reason to just rush into, I had already done enough. And so I didn't have any reason to just jump into it. I had other stuff, other projects at work going. So I just parked it and I waited as best I could until that video came out before I started talking about it. And since then, I put some big, my 2+2 ADV fiberglass fenders on the front so I could drive it. And I took the other fenders off. I replaced the C-track and I've been daily in it for the last, middle of December. And so it is by no means cherry, but it is also totally drivable. It's funny. I threw it on the alignment rack and the alignment is straight minus 2 degrees of camber on the passenger side.
Wow.
I drove that Raptor red stripe on the steering wheel is straight. And I mean straight from the drive home all the way up 5. And it makes some interesting noises and there's, some stuff happening there and the frame is by no means correct, but it is absolutely drivable. It is, like I said, I've been driving it every day. And so we're slating and I've got a bunch of great partners on board because I'm going to rebuild it. I'm going to make it right again. I have a frame from another Raptor project here and I've got a bunch of great vendors on board. Everyone from Nexen tires to lock off-road wheels. I've got RPG is on board. We're working with kind of figuring out what we're going to do with the suspension. I've had a great relationship with the off-road revolution guys that are back east. And I'm hoping to get the truck to Durham Town this year. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that event.
No.
So they do the off-road revolution is basically a bunch of guys that are basically trying to build a Raptor race series or an off-road truck race series back there on some of their tracks they have. And Durham Town is outside of Atlanta. And basically it's a big boy closed course racetrack for your Raptor, for your modified F-150 or whatever you drive. And they hold an event there every year that's huge with the Raptor community back east. And so we're trying to get the truck built and get it back there for that later on this summer. And ultimately, I'm going to keep driving that truck just as long as I can. And I've got a bunch of a lot of great people I've met through the event and people that are interested in, putting that truck back together and partnering up. And, SBD's making exhaust for it right now. And we've got just great relationships. And this call is no different. I don't know you guys, but it's cool enough that we can get together and chat about trucks because obviously you guys are into trucks. I'm into trucks. And, that's been super cool. And the people I've met and the relationships I've already started is tremendous. I mean, and it sounds stupid. I'm just a dude, right? I'm just a guy. But, when I had Lauren Healy one night, literally
love that guy.
Had a conversation with me on my couch about trucks. And I'm like, Lauren Healy is like a hero, right? I had Aaron Kaufman from Gas Monkey Garage.
Another good dude that we love. Yeah.
Right.
We've had both on the show a bunch.
Right. And just the fact that they would engage me as just to have a simple exchange of just cars and ultimately car guys are generally speaking really good dudes. And it's nice to be able to get past some of the other things. And this event has really helped me to get to take down some of those barriers and get to know some people a little bit more. And ultimately it's been really great. And so
love it.
That's been super cool.
I have a question, Jason. Why not step up into the new R, the Raptor R, and supercharge? Get a bunch more ponies under the hood.
Well, I'm working on manifesting, and so I'm okay if Ford wants to get involved in my rehabilitation. But I'm a big boy, right? I took my truck off that jump all by myself. Ford didn't make me. Hoonigans didn't make me do that. I did it all on my own behalf. And so the best way that I know how to kind of do this is to involve the relationships I have through my business and through my life to make it whole again. And ultimately, I can't afford to go down and write a check at the Ford dealer for an R. I just can't. And at the end of the day, there's more for me in learning all the things that happened and about how to fix them. So when my customers and so when guys come in and say, hey, my truck does this, I can say, hey, this is why. And I can also
And your first
say
question is, did you jump it? He goes, no, it's never been off road. And you're like, yeah, sure.
It's lightly used. And
Lightly
that's what I tell
used.
people
I know
about
what I
my truck,
have.
right?
Don't lowball
Lightly
me.
used, you know?
It's only slightly salvaged.
Yeah, it's not salvaged if you don't claim it on your insurance. Let's get that straight.
Well, we love meeting you. We love watching your rise from those ashes. But, you know, talking about meeting people who love trucks, you know, a lot of times we have, times where we might need a diesel tech on the podcast as an expert. So maybe we'll keep you in the queue for that because we'd love to have you back on.
Dude, been biting my tongue. I have so many diesel questions I want to ask him. So I don't even know if he knows that I work at Banks. Do you know Gail Banks?
Of course I do.
So I run the marketing department.
Lady's day job.
That's what I do for a day job.
Okay.
So we should talk about diesel some other time. What's next? You're gonna get this. You're gonna put the new fenders on. You're gonna take it to the race back east, and then are you gonna go for a bigger jump?
So I don't know. You know, it's funny. You do something like this, and from a content perspective, you're gonna follow it up. Well, ultimately, I have really no intention of going. You know, people talk about 150 feet or however far that jump was to flat. I am all for a big launch and a big send. I just want something with a little more landing, you know, a little down slope is all I'm really looking for. You know, at the end of the day, I don't know. I kind of check that box, if you will. I have no problem jumping the truck or any of that stuff. But
starting line,
for me,
check. Launch, check.
Right.
Flight, check.
Right.
Landing, needs improvement.
Yeah.
Got to work on that.
Yeah.
But the other thing that we're actually doing, and maybe you guys are familiar with the Factory 5 Racing, the guys that make Cobra Kick
Yeah, they've got their cool new tube chassis.
Yeah, I have one. I'm building chassis 6.
Oh, bitchin'. We're actually going to have them on the show, so that's awesome to know.
So that's how I have this spare Raptor frame.
Got it.
Because I used a Raptor as a donor truck, and so the frame from that Raptor is the one I'm going to put in my Raptor.
Oh, there you go.
So I have an XTF that's almost. I literally was putting carbon fiber on it today. It runs and drives. I just have to finish the body panels, and it's got complete ADS suspension all the way around, and it's going to be the baddest one that there is at this point because there's only 6 of them. So that's kind of one of the things that we're doing. That truck will probably be at SEMA. I would love to put my truck with that truck at SEMA. I ultimately think my truck is I think I could put that in a booth at SEMA and put the video on repeat on the screen above it. And
100%.
I think people would, right? I think there would be an interest in looking at that.
I would.
For sure. What tires are you running? Or were you running at the time?
Those were Nittos on there.
Nitto usually has a display out front. I'm sure they're looking for vehicles.
Yeah. No, I've got my Nittos. I had Nittos 37, 12, 5, 17s on there.
Which is why the fenders flew off.
Right. And ultimately, the fenders are, they're great when people do their dailies and stuff. But, you know, when you do anything from that high, I don't think it matters what you had on there on stock fenders. So.
Well, listen, Jason, we're thrilled that you're fine. We're thrilled that we got to watch your exploits and you walked away from it. It was great video. And we're going to be keeping our eye on you on Instagram because it's probably the easiest. So it's at Bay_area_Raptor. Bay Area Raptor. All right, Jason, thank you very much for spending some time with us. We do appreciate
thank you guys.
it.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah,
thank you.
We are going to have you on the show again.
Yeah, we had a good time. We're definitely going to have you back because there's all sorts of stuff that we can pick your brain on.
I love it. Happy to. Just you guys know where to find me, and thanks again.
Awesome.
You got it.
We'll talk soon. Thanks, Jason.
Take care. Bye.
All right, so when are you going to top him by launching the TRX?
The 5th of never. The Truck Show Podcast is a production of Truck Famous LLC. This podcast was created by Sean Holman and Jay Tillis with production elements by DJ Omar Khan. If you like what you've heard, please open your Apple Podcast or Spotify app and give us a 5-star rating. And if you're a fan, there's no better way to show your support than by patronizing our sponsors. Some vehicles may have been harmed during the making of this podcast.